And today we're talking about energy.
We are.
We're talking about energy, how to, yeah, how to assess what energy we've got, how to use it, how to protect it,
Mhm.
how to spend our energy. Yeah. And then some of the just kind of a few different lenses on it, aren't we? We've got some ideas about
Yeah.
different lenses to put it through.
Yeah. Because
Mm.
I think I speak for both of us in terms of us both going a little bit peculiar after
Mm.
the eclipse.
Mm.
And I don't have the sort of folklore background, um, but I did go a little bit weird. I think it
Yeah.
was, it was a real spectacle to behold.
Mm.
I was lucky enough we were in the countryside to see it, because if I'd have been in London, I don't think, with light pollution, wouldn't have seen anything. But the meteor shower afterwards, which we stayed up really late for, um, it was a bit mind blowing. And then the next day, I just felt a bit done, a bit
Yeah.
spent.
Yeah.
Um, and you hosted your lovely Lamas yoga.
So yeah, we did, didn't we? In Love Sober Community, we did
Yeah.
so we sometimes do a circle where we share. It's like if there's more people, and sometimes, or depending on the energy,
Mhm.
and then sometimes we do some kind of practice, don't we? Like yoga nidra. So we did a very
Yeah.
grounding kind of yoga, um, yoga nidra, and yeah, a little bit of
Yeah.
journaling, didn't we? And a tiny shed, but it didn't feel like I wanted to sit around and talk, or I didn't want, as a host, I didn't want to listen, quite frankly.
Not to you lot. No, but you read the room and
Yeah,
everyone was a little bit
true. Yeah,
spacey. And
yeah.
hello to Christine, by the way, who's just popped
Hey,
on. It's nice to have you here.
lovely. Yeah, lovely to see
Um,
you.
so yeah, we're talking energy.
We are.
How are you feeling at this weird, so we're coming towards the end of summer. Certainly in the UK, the temperatures have finally
Yeah,
dropped a little, which is just a godsend.
yeah.
So how are you feeling? How is your energy different to the start of the summer?
Mm.
Are you doing things differently?
Yeah, I mean, I find it a little, yeah, this one's a funny one for me because I think because of the heat, being neurodivergent, and because of the extreme heat in the UK, I found that quite hard.
Mm.
It's been easier. I mean, well, I'm sure we'll dive into this. That I've got quite a lot of friends who have still got younger kids, and and I've picked up things like I've picked up emails and the amount of the apologies about, I'm so sorry I
Mm.
haven't got back to you because it's just been a bit like this, and I remember that, and I'm like, I mean, we said it, didn't we? Like a few
Yeah.
years ago, please let's stop calling these the holidays because it's no frickin' holiday. It's a period of school closure, and for
Yeah.
parents and carers, it's not a
Mm.
holiday. And I remember I used to do that as well. Just feel like I wasn't quite. I just wasn't coping, like keeping
Mm.
up. Just felt like a monumental effort.
Yeah.
But that's easier on me, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
and how quickly we forget as well. It's like I
But this too
just
shall
went
pass, right?
limping towards the end of the summer holidays or
Yeah.
school closure. Yeah, and it does. So yes, if you're a parent and a carer and your kids are still young, it is a lot. It is
Mm.
a lot. So yeah, just to give that a shout out, acknowledge that.
Mm. I
Yeah.
think, on that note, I've found, if I'm unusually zen, it's because I'm at the tail end of a little staycation.
Mm.
And the difference in not having to fly and deal with airports and stuff like that, um, and just we're in the middle of nowhere, so there are none of the pressures of, like the lure of the all inclusive and stuff like that. Um, it's just felt so much smaller, more manageable. Um, and so in terms of energy, like literally, it's like, what are we going to do today? Paddle boarding.
Mm.
That's it. and I have to walk about 6 steps to get to the paddleboard. So it's not this kind of get everyone ready for the beach and then have
Yeah.
sand in every crevice or orifice or whatever. So that in
It's a
terms of
nice thought, Helen.
energy, yeah, sorry about that. Suddenly goes all gynecological. Um, no, but it really, this has been a completely different holiday
Mm,
experience and has normally by this point in the summer, I would be just completely shot
mm,
and, feeling bad about the little one having screen time, because I can no longer do the Tower of London
mm.
followed by, uh, you know, I don't know, Buckingham Palace, all that shiz. But, no, so it's good.
Yeah.
I'm
Less
very
is more.
grateful.
This is what I'm hearing. Less is
Less is
more,
more.
folks. Less is more, which is
Um,
so true, isn't it? Yes.
yeah, you mentioned something I really liked earlier. Well, 2 things. So there is the patented parquet paper, which it
Yeah.
would be ace if you can talk us through,
Yeah.
which I think helps to manage energy, and also SWAP as an acronym.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the energy, so if we thinking about physical, mental, emotional, all the different kinds of energy and like yeah, energy levels and how we I feel like we have real value judgments around it. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah,
for some of those that you mentioned are sort of tools in order to kind of manage our energy. But first, like maybe, yeah, because I can have a different. There's two things there. I can feel like mentally, I have different energy at different times of the day. Physically, I
yeah.
do as well. I can have a mismatch between mental and physical energy for sure. Being a woman,
Mhm.
postmenopausal woman. Um, I do feel like that kind of well, one thing that is just never gets old and is a total truth about being alcohol free and being sober is that
Mhm.
we get a true audit, right? We
Yeah,
just get a true baseline of where we are.
yeah,
And that's brilliant and terrible all at the same time if you're not used to listening to that
yeah,
and adapting and having strategies. And
yeah,
also, if you have those value judgments, if you're still like operating on the go hard, go home thing, if you hate that feeling of being tired and have not got
mm,
kind of, well, again, maybe we don't always have the luxury of just resting when we need to rest because of the kind of
yeah,
pace of life and the cultural
yeah,
and our jobs and the demands
yeah,
on us. So there are a lot of different factors, aren't there, in terms of when people
mm,
go, well, yeah, we've just got to really look after our energy.
yeah,
Yes, okay. But we've got all of that to kind of just to call out, just to acknowledge, I think.
yeah, and I think
Um,
we've got it so wrong in the West that everything is related to productivity and go, go, go.
mm,
Um, but you were talking about sort of more, um, uh, Chinese philosophies and
mhm.
this idea of yin energy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or could
Yeah,
you
so
talk some
yeah,
more about that?
absolutely. Yeah, so in terms of then, yeah, looking at that kind of social piece and a physical piece and and a gendered piece, I guess.
Mhm.
I follow a woman and I really should shout her out and I can't remember, but on Instagram. I'll try and do that. I'll try and get my sources sorted at some point.
Mm.
Um, my screen went blank and then it asked me if I wanted to leave. And I really won't do that to you, Helen, but can you imagine?
Yeah,
Can
and
you
we have
imagine
Chloe
how
who has just
unhappy
joined,
I'd
so
be? Hi, Chloe.
that would be seriously bad business. Welcome,
So,
Chloe.
yeah, so in terms of the Chinese perspective, so yeah, we've got our Western like yang-tastic, like go, 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 capitalist
Yeah,
productivity, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
I feel like there might be a little bit more awareness of that now, more than there was,
Mhm.
say, for example, in the 90s when we had all the ladette stuff. And I feel like I was definitely in the dark glamour of all of that. I was
Oh, yeah.
spellbound by
Yeah.
how powerful I could be and how I could work all the hours and how I could go to the gym and work out and how I could drink hard, and I was full of that feminist thing. So,
Yeah.
like, so that
But
had to be separated out because it's just not sustainable, and that's the bit here. It's from those older wisdom, cyclicals, nature-based wisdoms that we knew that
yeah.
weren't just about the last since the Industrial Revolution, say, um, in the Chinese philosophies and the yogic traditions, and I would imagine, although I don't know enough about them, the indigenous wisdoms that there are
Mm.
globally as well.
Mm.
Um, that there has to be a balance, right? And this is what we've been so shit at in the West, is we've totally
Yeah.
lost the balance. So
Yeah.
yeah, so in Chinese philosophy it would be yin, so that those kind of qualities of dark, of rest, what's they call the feminine energies, um, as opposed to the kind of the yang, the output, the doing, the doing, the doing. It's more like the rest
Yeah.
and earthing of the energies. So, and we're just way out of balance. So that's
Well, it feels it's quite an uncomfortable adjustment to accept, and I think particularly um, in the absence of stimulants and going through perimenopause, where your energy, emotionally, physically, your body's up to all sorts of mad shit, right? Um, we we have to accept it's not a failing that your body is going, no, whoa, whoa,
yeah, yeah,
you know, stop,
totally.
like
Mm,
just let's pause and let's rebuild, because we're not the same. My body and my brain and everything is not the same as it was 10 years ago.
mm,
It's doing a lot of crazy business. So, leaning into that is not laziness. I saw on this holiday, and it might be a combination of perimenopause, actually relaxing after a very intense period,
mm,
and the legacy of grief, that
yeah.
my capacity to just sit and flop, um, and look at ducks is boundless. And I think it is because I'm in recovery in many, many
Yeah,
ways from many,
yeah,
many
yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah.
So that, it's not just that I've got lazy ass energy, which
Mm,
I also have the potential to have, but
mm,
I have had a bit of what, I'm
mm.
lucky enough to have had a bit of what I needed.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
again, that's very difficult to build into, your average working week,
And
with,
what you might have
sandwich
not,
generation.
what you might not have built in had you been drinking. Because it would just be that would be
Yeah,
masked. It would be like,
yeah,
okay, peak holiday, like,
yeah,
like that peak experience, which we're gonna
yeah,
call out as well, wouldn't we? But not
yeah,
actually authentically what you need, which is the
yeah,
hardest. Yeah.
yeah. So we digressed, as we always do,
Mm.
and um, I thought it would be worth us talk. So could you talk about the parquet paper
Yeah,
and
so
swap?
how do we protect our energy then? So,
Yeah,
um it's we can't, so we were talking about alcohol free, being alcohol free when we stop drinking, that gives us an authentic, sort of baseline to assess our energy from. But then
mm,
there's another layer of that, and we can't assess our energy unless we pause, unless we stop. If we're in reactivity all the time, and there is so much of that as well for parents
yeah,
and carers, juggling the summer holidays, period of
yeah,
school closure,
yeah,
especially if we're working at the same time, we can,
yeah,
literally get up and be reacting, responding from
yeah,
dawn to when our head hits the pillow,
yeah,
chasing, chasing, chasing. So it's like, how do we stop in the first place? How do we just go, okay, fucking stop the madness, excuse my French, and
yeah,
just pause? And I mean, that might be going to the toilet and shutting the door. I remember,
yeah,
like, putting my daughter when she was little, I had one of those baby cages, what do you call them? The playpen. that, like, certain parents were like, "You can't put them in there. Why are you restricting your child?" And I was
Oh,
like,
no, no, you
"So
have
they
to.
don't kill themselves."
Yeah,
She likes it. It's got her things in it, and so
yeah,
I can go to the toilet, right?
yeah.
So
Shove some books in there because otherwise it's like, well, they're gonna brain themselves or
yeah.
she will find the only spike in our whole
Yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah. I did actually have my daughter did find a bit of not glass, grass, and was chewing on it and going which was like it was always my total and utter phobia that there would
Yeah,
be a choking incident. Anyway, we digress. So,
yeah.
going to the toilet,
Mm,
shutting the door, taking that moment,
yeah.
to then and so, yeah, so what did we say? So SWAT I had,
Swap is
this
good.
yeah, coming up with, when we are so we one of the reasons let's just dive back in, why is this important for sobriety? Because we will get
Mhm.
knackered and tiredness is one of our triggers, hungry,
Yeah,
angry, lonely, tired, right? So, if we are, racing around and our energy is not being cared for, at some point
mhm.
we are out of our window of tolerance and therefore we will be triggered to drink or pick up our
Yeah,
substance of choice or a
yeah,
behavior of choice to try and regulate ourselves. So that's the
yeah.
why. So, a lovely client, and I came up with this the other day when she was talking about being distracted. Like, so, this kind of suddenly the phone rang, hang on, I know that I was doing this, but suddenly something else is needing my attention, or that common
Yeah,
thing. So we came up with the acronym SWAP. When we are being demanded, as we are often as women, to swap tasks at any given moment. And this was stop, wait, assess, and then proceed. So
this
I
it applies to so much,
so
doesn't it?
much. It's a bit like Holt, isn't it? It's a
Mm.
bit like just stop. I
Yeah,
in and it reminds me of that lovely Viktor Frankl quote, which I come back to all the time with it, which is in between stimulus and response is a pause, and in the pause is our potential and our power to choose, and that is
yeah,
everything. So that's everything. If we're talking about an alcohol trigger, or
yeah.
one of those what we would call a prodrome before the big syndrome of the big trigger happens. Prodromes are the little amber flags
Syndrome.
that build up throughout the day. It's medical speak, so it's not often used for behaviours, but
Mm.
those are the little amber flags where we're being this, 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 this.
Which is
If we're not watching them, we can go full into a effort moment.
so yeah, they can I guess they can send you into either wild panic or you can
Mhm.
go, right, well no, knowledge is power. This is a gift. This is my body or my brain going,
Yeah,
you might need to take a look at yourself and
yeah.
have some sort of intervention. But I was thinking, so as you said, swap is like
Mm,
halt for drinking, but it's also one of the things that I've found has drained my energy
mm.
over the holidays is if I've got like a parenting dilemma or um or if I've been asked some really obscure questions by the little one and genuinely don't know how to answer. And
Yeah.
they're things that are potentially powerful.
Was it like what happens when we die moment when you're just like,
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
just come out of
yeah.
yeah,
And quite a lot of why can't grandma just come back?
yeah,
And that, in terms of emotional energy,
mm,
the toll of that. So I've got a duty to my daughter to, really contemplate the question.
mm.
I've got a bit of a duty to myself to be like, well, that's pretty harrowing because I
Yeah,
know she's not coming back.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's things like that in terms of the nature of energy and demands on our energy. It's not just our bodies that get knackered and hormonal cycles that sometimes will feel up and sometimes will feel down. It's the kind of emotional, like um yeah, all all kinds of business.
yeah.
So that's been my sort of
Mm. Yeah, and what
peculiar.
I think what we need it's like we need a bit of energy in the tank for
Yeah,
that. We need some reserves, don't we? And I think this point in the period of school closure for parents and carers,
yeah,
we're often really running on empty. I think there is a cultural expectation for women to there's a gendered piece where if you
yeah,
are like, "Actually, no, I'm just going to read my" it's like, "I really need to stop now," rather than "It's my
yeah,
preference."
yeah.
So we were expected to almost get to the end of our tether a little bit, aren't we? And we can only have a
It's a
need
badge
when
of
it's a real
honor.
need. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's a badge of honor, whereas actually, the oxygen masks on first thing,
Mhm.
um,
But
is
again, that's a crisis moment, oxygen masks on first.
yeah,
There's
so
a
it's gone too
deeper
far.
layer where we're like, "Well, we've decided we didn't wanna get on the plane because we were having a nice time by the pool, so we didn't get to
Yeah,
that oxygen mask falling
yeah,
because I fancied it." There's still an expectation that
yeah.
it's almost gotta be crisis before we apply the oxygen mask.
Yeah, which I can feel our heckles rising. I've just seen a couple more people joining us
Yeah.
actually. So hello to Ed and hello to is it Marsha or
Emma,
Marcia? I'm
Martina,
really sorry if I'm not
Ella.
pronouncing that properly. But is it a good time to talk about spoons?
Yeah, so another tool to manage your energy. So this is energy discernment we've talked about, like this important kind of, okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna pause, we're gonna hold, we're gonna apply SWOT, we're gonna assess.
It and I think
Yeah.
it can
Have I got the
um
energy for this? Does this need me to intervene? Is this something
yeah,
that can be later? Yeah.
I think it's a really good way to communicate if your energy levels are out of whack. I think it's a really good way to check in with yourself. But it's the idea if you allocate tasks or demands, how much of your energy do they take up? What's big spoon energy? So, a wedding is big spoon. That's gonna
So
like
stop a minute.
by
So
the
the idea is that we've got a whole load of spoons. So we've got a
yeah,
teaspoon, we've got a
yeah,
dessert spoon, we've got a serving spoon, we've got different range, a bit like
right,
Goldilocks with the
right
different
up to big old ladle.
big old ladle. And so that we can manage our energy in those spoons, how much we've got, and also
Yeah.
different tasks might be a different spoonful of energy. Right, okay.
So they thank you for the clarification because I got a bit overexcited there, didn't I? But from day to day, you will have a different number of spoons available to you. So you might look at the day ahead and think, oh, there's that thing I've been putting off. And that is going to take a lot of my energy. That's
Mm,
that's going to be a real drain. Um, then you need to try and balance it out with
mm,
maybe it might be asking for help with other stuff that has to be done. It might be saying, well, this doesn't need to be done today. I
mm,
can put this on my parket list. But I was thinking, in terms of allocating your energy to the right stuff and the stuff that matters, what might you encounter that might be unexpectedly demanding? So that might be in early sobriety. So when you're working at it every day, this guy, um, that isn't just a straightforward, peaceful day. That is taking some of my energy,
mm,
even though no one else can see that it is. I'm having to make choices. I might be having to swerve cravings and that sort of
mm,
thing. So that's a medium for me at the moment. That's a medium sized
mm,
spoon.
mm,
But you might have something else. You might have people dealing with pain of any sort, but again, it's like an unseen demand that's gonna, like, take some of your spoons. What do you have left? You've also got with neurodivergence and with perimenopause, menopause, these things, again, unseen, particularly by men,
mm,
um, that there might be situations that take more out of you than might be
mm,
expected. So just basic executive functioning. If you're
Mm,
neurodivergent, you know, remembering the password or paying the bill might actually be a big deal
mm,
and become a big spoon.
mm,
So I found that helpful. Apparently, the community who use this as a way of communicating where they're at, they're spoonies, apparently. So
you're a
I can s
spoonie.
I think I might be a spoonie because, um,
A
I
sober
just think
spoonie.
so spoonie, yeah, why not? Sober spoonie sis. Um, but I thought that was helpful, particularly if you're not if you're in the space where you're like, if I fess up to the fact that there's nothing left,
Mm,
I've failed or I'm lazy, um, or I'm not up to the job. It's like if you've got a oh, sorry, things are blowing about and I might be savaged by wasps any minute. Um, if you have come to the end of your working day and you either have a high pressure job or
mm,
just one that takes it out of you, um, you then when you get home, it might be like the worst thing you could do is go out and
mm,
socialize. But it's a gift to yourself to, the sort of joy of missing out. If you're
yeah.
like, no, actually, I've looked at my spoons
Mm,
and the only spoon I have left is the one that is going to stir a hot chocolate while I'm in my pajamas.
yeah.
And that's not failure. That's knowing yourself. And
That's
that's
knowing your
accepting
spoons.
it's knowing your spoons.
It is.
So,
It's a lovely way of measuring it. I love that.
mm,
Um, yeah, and also it's what you said about the neurodivergence and the kind of it's making me just think of that two things, it's not a level playing field. So, that culturally, socially, for
yeah,
a woman to go into a traditionally, male environment and achieve and bring home the bacon on that,
yeah,
whilst is go, that's going to take more energy because you've got to compete in that environment. Then as well, if you
yeah,
put perimenop if you put the intersections of, of all of those things on there, the your proximity to power, right? On all
yeah,
of the all of that. That is all
yeah,
taking energy.
yeah,
Um, so it's so I feel like we can have that kind of that makes me feel like I could if I'm looking at it in terms of that holistic piece,
yeah.
I might have a bit more self-compassion. I
Mhm.
might have it might legitimize me looking a bit more closely at my energy and work it and actually going, no, yeah, that's enough. I
Yeah,
definitely need to keep something in the tank because then also we've got women's invisible labor. Well, I've also got to, I'm the one keeping the kids' diaries in my head, the doctor's appointments, the vet, all of that. So I feel once again diary as weapon of choice and really
yeah,
it's almost like externalizing, seeing all the jobs, seeing the time, seeing the spoons,
yeah,
and then calling bullshit again, isn't it, on the
yeah.
cultural expectation of peak experience, peak memory over the summer,
What was your
bottling
lovely
everything.
phrase? You said
Um,
something earlier.
what did I say? Well, it's peace and presence over peak performance.
Yeah,
And you came
because
to that because you were saying you had this lovely sort of peak experience watching these ducks
yeah, I was having the
and the
time of my
moment,
life.
which was
Maybe
a
I'm
still moment. So this is where they actually live is in the stillness. We don't
yeah.
see them if we're racing around, It's that
So,
beware the barrenness of the busy life quote. I can't remember who said that, but
but um, the artificial peaks and troughs we
mm,
have when we're drinking, um, arguably, sort of social media and stuff like that, these weird dopamine spikes
yeah.
and then crashes.
Mm.
But one of the best bits of this holiday was like we saw an armadillo, not in the wild. Um,
I was gonna say,
and
blimey, where that up north is far more exotic than it used to be, in my experience.
in the wilds of Suffolk. Um, but it's been these real like micro this tiny joy,
Tiny joy.
micro things that I am and I just like the armadillo did something funny. My daughter and my other half laughed, and I felt so. I mean, it's really wanky, but I was so awash with love, and
Mm.
that gave me a little boost in terms of energy because I was just
Yeah,
like, we not yeah. It's the anti peak. It's the
anti-peak.
really small, simple,
Mm.
but the like the satisfaction of that was just like, oh man, why
That
we've
gives
been
you back
doing this
some
all wrong for so
spoons.
long.
So that's interesting. What will take
Yeah,
your energy spoons, and what spoons, what will give you back your
I
energy spoons?
and I think it's like it might be a little controversial to say, and um, obviously we don't always have the luxury of this, but there might be people or places who either ladle in energy or
Yeah,
really take it away.
yeah,
So that might
yeah,
be you've got a difficult colleague.
yeah.
It might be that, you know, just dealing with a tricky
Mm,
situation, or even a friend whose energy is different to yours.
mm,
I've got a friend who I love, and she's brilliant and she is whip smart, but she's
mm.
pretty intense. And
Yeah.
I am slow. I accept I'm slow and sort of live life at a slightly glacial pace. And so I have to work up to seeing
Yeah.
her and then manage my energy afterwards
Mm,
because in the
totally.
past it's been a case of, we had a lovely time, but I will be needing a stiff drink after that because it's just
Yeah.
a bit
Yeah, yeah. But this
heightened.
is yeah, I mean, all of that, I mean, this goes back to then energy being boundary work, isn't it? Again, it's like,
Yeah,
protecting ourselves, deciding what we need, deciding what we say yes to, deciding what we say no to, deciding what we prefer and at what point. This is
yeah,
all energy. It is all energy work. And the
yeah.
reason, I mean, I know that I've been working with this quite a lot this year in a nuanced way. And I'm like, I mean, it could be that because my home life has calmed down enough for me to get there because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, 10 years into sobriety, I'm
Mm.
working with energetic boundaries. I'm like, how did it take me
Yeah.
that long to kind of figure this one out? But, I have had quite high needs circumstances for a long time.
Yeah.
But this is the last thing that feeds into then is, and this is lovely, and this is where I'm like, I love it when the patterns sort of like emerge and you find other ways to link sobriety and wellness to. Like I find that so gratifying. And when I
Mm.
did my yoga training, learning about they called the yamas and niyamas, which are the kind of
Okay.
rules and principles. They're almost like guiding principles and pillars
Yeah.
of of why we do things, why we observe. So it's like ahimsa is like the non-harming. So we try not to harm things.
Yeah.
We tell, is it true? Is it non-harming? That kind of thing. And I love there's so much around sobriety that you can link with those old yogic traditions, which was great for me. But
Mhm.
one of them is called brahmacharya, which in the ancient traditions, it was actually about celibacy. When they were
Oh,
training boys in the military, and it was like, well, we're celibate because we're conserving energy. But
you're saving your
now,
randy energy for
yeah, well, it
aggression.
was all, yeah. I mean, it's all that kind of energy. It's
Wow.
all expending, all containment.
Yeah.
But so it's understood in modern terms as modern yogic philosophy. It's widened to be accepted as the right use of energy. So I found that so useful to just again swap, stop,
Yeah.
wait, assess, pause. Is this the right use of my energy? Does it need
Yeah.
to be done by me? Do I need to do it now? Is this something I want to do? Is this something important? Is this the right use of my energy? Half the blooming time, I'd be just running around and I'd be like, actually, it's not really.
Yeah.
No, I do not have to do all the hoovering today and kill
Yeah.
myself. You
Um,
know,
hoovering is a big spoon for me because I've got my yes,
it's
maybe because I'm a lazy
because of
ass, but
maybe the noise as well.
it's the noise because I've got my weirdness and noise sensitivity.
Yeah,
So, um, that's a
yeah.
big spoon. But I just had a moment of brilliance and it's gone.
Gone. Hello, midlife. Hello, midlife, my old friend. La 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 la
It's
la.
perfect.
La.
Um,
Yeah. So, anything else that we've forgotten? The right
um,
use of energy, the spoons, the SWAP
yeah,
acronym, the pacing ourselves during the day. But I think the main thing is that for me is always that pause and to try and stay
yeah,
within the window of tolerance, to
yeah.
taking those breaks during the day wherever we can. And just, I mean, maybe we could do this before you offered the journaling prompts for this week.
Mhm,
Maybe it's nice to just take that pause and offer that. So if you're
mhm.
tuning in or if you're watching it afterwards, please don't do this if you're driving or operating heavy machinery.
Well
But
done. I failed to remind you, but
yeah,
you're
should
on
we
it.
just take our moment to pause and just come to the breath? Yeah. And let's do this in real time. Let's do this managing our energy together in real time. So if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. This is all an invitation. Don't do it if you don't like it. Keep your eyes open if that's more comfortable. And so if you are just noticing the rise and the fall of the breath, you might want to have one hand on tummy, one hand on chest, or just have your hands in your lap, wherever's comfortable. And knowing that there's no right or wrong way. Sometimes we can feel a lot, sometimes we can't. That's fine. And just noticing that rise of the inhale to the top of the head and then, letting it go. Watching a few rounds of breath. Feeling the contact points on the floor, on the chair, maybe where we are sitting, maybe we're lying down. So grounding and centering there, orienting to where we are. And that can be really kind of soothing on the nervous system. Just, we're here. It tells the body, hey, I'm here. It's now. And then maybe taking a little body scan, sending a breath to anywhere that feels a little bit tense. Maybe you want to wriggle out. Oh, and then a lovely, lovely thing actually, before I forget, the frontal occipital hold. So a forehead on the head, if you like this, the hand on the forehead, hand at the back. And then just breathe and let your head be held by the hands. Sending a breath there. Another breath, and then maybe squidging the cheeks. Maybe taking a stretch. And then blinking the eyes open, looking around the room or your environment, noticing things. I like to run off my tongue around the teeth, just sort of wakes you up a little bit more. Oh, that's better. So I would say that's given me a couple of teaspoons back.
This is what we want, isn't it?
This is what
Um,
we want.
uh, Thank you
And
for
it
that.
only took 5 minutes. If we're like, oh, I can't possibly take a pause, maybe we can. It's actually little things can add up, can't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, I was going to say one thing I've found valuable
Mm.
in terms of giving in to rest is that because there's this awkwardness and reluctance to say, like, hang on, I'm I'm done, or I am approaching done.
Mm.
I think if you take, I hate the name of this meditation, but if you take a sort of loving kindness
Mm.
approach to things, think of someone you think is great
Mm.
and them saying, the spoons are gone, or the spoons are diminishing,
Mm.
or that activity will be the biggest of all the spoons. Um, I think by removing the lens from yourself, you might actually be
Mm.
more forgiving. So it's like you wouldn't, um, you wouldn't think that your mate is a real toe rag if they're like, "Oh, can you help me
Yeah.
out? Can you do the school run or something like
Mm.
that?" It's like, just know yourself, be kind to yourself,
Mm.
be compassionate, and if you can't do that for you,
Mm.
extend it to people you love, and
And then
then
flip it back, apply it to yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, lovely, and
exactly.
I love what you said, like, that it's almost like identifying your resources as well, asking for help,
Yeah,
"Who could help me out there?"
yeah.
You
And if
know
it's, what can you let go of?
yeah, what can you let go of for sure.
What
Yeah.
is eating up your energy? Um,
Mm.
yeah. So I guess
Mm.
on that note, the journaling prompt would
'Kay.
just be, where are you on the spoonometer? If anyone wants to, I mean, that's not a thing,
If you've
but
just joined, no one's just joined, so has no context, so that's good.
okay, we're
So
good,
where are
we're
you
good.
on the spoonometer?
Yeah, but I guess whether
Yeah.
it's today or this week with what you've got coming up,
Mm.
or this
Yeah.
late summer period.
This is helping me today because there's a thing going on tonight which I would really like to do,
Mm,
and it's a read through of a play that's the local Amdram is doing. I
mm.
haven't got the bloody energy for it. It's gonna take too many spoons, and actually I'm down to teaspoons now.
So is there so is there something you could do to replenish some spoons? Not
No,
in order
I
to do
can't be
that.
bothered. I can't be bothered to
Yeah.
do it.
But what
I just can't be
so
bothered.
so instead,
I'm gonna
what
do watch
will
I'm gonna watch The Good Wife on telly because that's my most recent sort of Netflix binge that lovely Catherine Moore put me
it's
onto,
it's
and
good.
so I'm just gonna be drinking decaf Earl Grey and watching Netflix. I'm not gonna be
See.
reading Antigone or however you pronounce it, which is a Greek tragedy, I believe, so
Oh, cripes. No, I sat through the Odyssey, and I'm not, that's 10 hours of my life
Yes.
I'm not getting back.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
totally.
but,
Yeah. So where are
I
you on
was
the spoonometer, and what's your next one?
spoonometer, I'm good,
Mm.
but I am going to fiercely guard my spoons for the rest of the summer holes, because there's still a good 3 weeks
Mm.
before the kid goes back.
Yes.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
um,
So what's the second prompt? So where are you on the spoonometer? And then what's the next one?
um,
How
I
do
guess
you
it's how do you allocate your
Mhm.
spoons? So, what do you have? What do you currently have?
Yeah.
And what can you foresee coming up that
Mm.
might be a drain?
Mm.
Is there anything you can build in that will, not to enable you to do the things that are gonna drain
Mm.
you, but what can you build in to restore your
Yeah.
energy?
So what gives you your spoons back?
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. We'd be interested to hear as well. How is the spoonometer working for you? And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think that we can, I still don't think I've sorted out the live chat so that you can actually,
No, well, that's what made things go pear-shaped last time when I tried
yeah.
to enable chat, and, my computer just had a total meltdown.
So I've put Spoonometer in there. If you are on the
Ah,
chat and you fancy writing something in the chat, you could give it a go. If you've got any questions, please do feel free to pop them in the chat if you can. And if you can't pop them in the chat, that might be because I haven't enabled it for anyone else. So I apologise in advance for that.
but
But
there
please do
are
feel free to email us,
yeah,
message us on Substack because we're all in Substack, which is lush.
yeah, but
So,
I'd love to know, like, the more peculiar the spoon, the better,
mm,
I think. Because this is completely individual,
yeah.
and, one person's teaspoon will be another person's. I can't labour that metaphor as
Ladles.
confidently, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Lovely. Yes, and watch your energy,
Yeah.
knowing that
Yeah.
it's a it's around self-worth. essentially, is what I'm coming to. How we
Yeah.
manage our energy, what we give our energy, what we say yes to, what we say no to, what we prefer. And again, it's taken me years to just go, oh, it doesn't have to be a big glaring need for me to advocate for it. I'm
Mm.
allowed to have preferences. They're all energy work and they're all
Mm.
around self-worth. And
Mm.
to not be, a wanker, you're worth it.
That's true.
Yeah, it is. We are worth it. So
Mm.
our energy matters. So yeah. Okay.
Well,
So
that was a treat and a joy.
yes.
Thank you for
So
joining us, peeps.
yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's really lovely. So we are going to end our live now. You will be probably getting an email um, with a with a recording, which obviously you don't have to watch because you've already shown up. So don't waste your energy doing that, for the love of God. But if you want to get in touch with us, then please do on Helen's
Yeah.
account or my account. Would be lovely to see you. All right, bye all. Ta-ra. Just using your words, Helen. Bye.
Bye.